Okay, here's a quick video to try and iron out some of what I see as confusion about the multi-dock and what you can and can't do with it, and also for those that don't like using it and prefer the old way, you can still do that. It's just a different way of using the multi-dock. So there it is, as you can see. Now you can't get rid of that without using Benstat's Sonar Plus. That is there apart from when you float the multi-dock, and that's sort of like the old way of doing it in 8.5 or previous versions. Anyway, if we call something up into the multi-dock, that's sort of its default position. So if I open a console view, which I can do by pressing Alt-2, so you can see I've got a little bit of a console view come up there. Now that can be called up or dropped out by pressing D. So if you wanted to, say, check levels and pan, you just drag it. You can make this whatever size you want, by the way. You just drag it up a little bit higher, so I can now see the pan and the levels. And if I press D, as you can see, it disappears instantly, and D brings it back again. Now if I want a more of a full screen view of that, to get that to go full screen, I can press Shift D, which takes it to full screen. Once we're there, pressing D will either collapse it completely or call it back again. And if I want it slightly smaller again, press Shift D, that drops it down, can make it whatever size I want. And now when I press D, that's the size it defaults to. So that's the basic sort of quick way of using the multi-dock. But if you want the old method, that is still achievable. All you need to do is select docking options and undock. Now that's obviously undocked it to a regular size window like it would in the old way, and you can now still take that up and restore it exactly as you would the old way. You can enlarge it obviously and drop it down that way as well, and as you can see, there is no multi-dock showing there now because it's gone, because you're using it elsewhere, and I can't see the difference between that and the old way, if you want, in previous versions. That's what I'm confused about. Another way of using this as well, if we restore that down, I'm just going to redock it by dragging it down to the bottom, right, is to use it as a multi-window. So if I open up a PRV and a matrix view, which I don't use, but as you can see they're now all in the multi-dock, I can still size it and call it up as I want with D to that size, or I can press Shift D and enlarge it and collapse it and bring it back up, or by pressing D. Again, Shift D brings it back down to size, and I can either then click on these to swap, or I can press Control Shift and the arrow keys, which cycles through them as well. So if I wanted to see a full size piano roll, for example, I bring the piano roll in, press Shift D, and there it is, and I can collapse that with D, bring it back with D, or jump to the console view with Control Shift left arrow, or indeed do all of this with a mouse. I just prefer the keyboard, and that's that. But again, if I wanted to do it the old way, undock, and there is the multi-dock undocked. You can put it where you want, even down the bottom here where it tries to go into the multi-dock. If you tries to dock itself, I'm holding the control key down, as you can see. That hasn't turned anything blue. It will just sit there if that's what you want, and you can enlarge that again, shrink it down exactly as the old method. The advantage is obviously you've still got them three views in that one window. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody out understanding the multi-dock and the way it works. Thanks.